And K-J said, if you think, they call, when I was taught that subject, my Lama said to me, this is the key to the middle way. This is the key to seeing emptiness. You understand this, and you can see emptiness. Okay? You understand school number 2, you can understand school number 4. And if you don't, you can't. We were reading, Ningbo is translating one of the important texts of K-J. He's translating probably the most beautiful text on this subject. And I said, what did he say about the need to study this subject? You know, I was in Starbucks an hour ago and I said, Ningbo, remind me, because I remember we translated it a few weeks ago. And he said, oh yeah, let me look it up. Oh yeah, here's K-J. He says, anybody who thinks they can see emptiness without studying the second school is like a person who says they're hungry, but they don't like food. Okay? I'm hungry, but I don't like food. I want to see emptiness, but I don't want to study Chi-Che-Dak. I don't want to study Course 13. Okay? Then K-J said, you're like a person who's dying of hunger but doesn't feel like eating. Okay? And then he said, you're like a person who's building a house, and then they have to lay the stairway into the house, and they choose bubbles as their concrete. Instead of concrete, they use bubbles. So to make a solid stairway into your house, you go to the store and you order bubbles, you know, and you try to make a stairway out of bubbles. He says, you don't study this subject, you're like a person who builds a house out, the foundation out of bubbles, you know. He's like that. Then he says worse things, which I can't tell you. So there's a subject of study in the second school called general and specific. This is a clock, okay? The first and most elementary version of Chi-Che-Dak is that this is a clock, it's a whole clock, and it has parts. The general, the whole, is the clock. The Che-Dak is the pieces of the clock. You know, the front, the back, the buttons, okay? Those are Che-Dak. That's the most elementary way of explaining general and specific. Chi and Che-Dak, okay? Then there's a deeper version, okay? This is one of all the clocks in the world. Got it? So if you had a big enough basket and you traveled from continent to continent and you collected all the clocks in the world and you had that big basket with all the clocks in the world and you threw this one in, this would be Che-Dak. This would be one clock among all the clocks in the world. And that's a higher level of Chi-Che-Dak, okay? That's a different level of Chi-Che-Dak. Got it? We're not talking about those two, okay? Those have nothing to do with what we want to talk about, okay? We're going to talk about the highest meaning of Chi-Che-Dak. And now you've got to hang in there, okay? Now you've got to really struggle. And I have to struggle because it's difficult to express these ideas in language. So now think of this as clock. Okay? Clock. I just say clock. Okay? Look at this thing, and I say clock. Okay? Clock. I didn't say a clock. And I didn't say the clock. I just said clock. Okay? Think clock. Okay? Think of clock. Is this clock? Be careful. Is this clock? Clock. In English, we use quotation marks. Is this clock? Yes. Sure? I didn't say, is it a clock? Or the clock. I said, is it clock? It's not clock. Okay? It's not clock. When I put quotation marks around it, I'm referring to the word clock. In one sense. Okay? Got that? The word clock. Is this the word clock? Is this clock? You see? That sound. Is it the sound clock? Okay? It's not the word clock, right? It's not clock, right? Is it the idea clock? Is it the idea clock? The thing in my hand, is it the idea clock? You can't hold an idea in your hand. Okay? Ideas are ineffable. They are things within your mind. You can't hold You can hold a clock in your hand, but you can't hold clock. It's not possible. Clock is an idea, right? Clock is an image in your mind. So now get used to the idea of clock in your mind. The thought clock. The image clock. Okay? What's that image like? It's the clock you saw when you were 3 years old and you were in the kitchen and your mother said, "Look at the clock." And you were like, "Huh?" And your mother said, "Look at the clock." And you're like, "Huh?" And she said, "Clock, clock. This is clock. This is clock." Okay? And then you looked at it and you said, "Quack." And your mom said, "No, clock." And you said, "Quack." And then you looked at the kitchen clock. I remember the first clock. And that for me, that's clock. Got it? That's my mother's clock. Usually it's your mother's clock, okay? That picture in my mind is clock. And I have compared all other clocks in my life against that clock, you know? When somebody said, "This is a clock," I mentally pulled out the image of my mom's clock and I said, "Is it like that?" Yeah. I mean, it's pretty close. Yes, it's a clock, okay? Got it? In the South Trantica system, in the second school, they say when you see a clock, when you recognize it as clock. See, I held it up, right? And there was enough clock things about it that you thought it was a clock, okay? It had numbers. It had those distinctive numbers. It had that double thing between two of the numbers, you see? There was enough stuff about it that was clocky that you thought it's a clock, okay? In the South Trantica system, stay with me, okay? I'm demanding that you stay with me or go home, okay? Stay with me tonight. It's worth it, okay? And I'm not going to stop because it'll blow it. And no one's going to walk around, okay? And the baby's not going to cry. All right. So in the South Trantica system, when someone holds an object up, your mind goes through the whole library, all the library shelves of all the stuff you ever knew. It pulls out each object. Banana. No. Fan. No. Car. No. And then it gets to clock. It gets to your mother's clock. It gets to the picture of your mother's clock in your mind. It pulls clock down off the shelf. It holds it up against this thing and it says, clock. That's it. Okay? Clock Mayembele Lokpa. Say clock. Mayembele Lokpa. Clock. Serna. Clock. Mayembele Lokpa. A clock is defined as the opposite of all which is not the clock. Okay? A clock is defined as the opposite of all which is not clock. Okay? So when you want to recognize what an object is in this school, your mind does this incredibly fast thing, right? It pulls down all the books in the library one by one until it gets the clock. And then it compares it. It eliminates all the other possibilities. Not a banana, not a car, not a fan, not my next door neighbor. Oh, clock. It's a clock because it eliminates everything else first. And you come to clock. Get it? Within a millisecond. Okay? Like it's supposed to be incredibly fast. Your mind does that. That clock that you pulled down out of your mind, what's it look like? What's it made of? Your mom's clock that you pulled down out of your mental library, what's it made of? Memory. It's a mental image. It's an image in the mind, right? It's a picture in the mind, okay? Can we say that's clock? Think carefully. If you care about Nagarjuna's text, that's what he calls nature, okay? And then you can figure out the rest yourself. Is that mental picture clock? Or is it a clock? I don't mean the one that was on your mother's wall. I mean the image in your mind. The perfect little perfect original clock. Is that clock? To you. Let's say to you. It is clock to you. It is clock to you. Okay? All right? You have an image in your mind of the grandmother of all clocks for you. And you pull that image down in your mind and you compare it to this. It has a brightness. Okay? Selshing rikpa shepetseni. It has a kind of brightness about it. It's like light. Deep inside of your mind, it's a perfect little image in your mind. It's a bright little picture that you store in your mind. And whenever you see some object that might be a clock, you compare it to that and you say it's close enough. Okay? So there's clock and there's a clock. Got it? There's clock and there's the clock. Got it? There's chi and there's chedak. And that's the real chi chedak. Got it? That's the real general and the specific instance. I like to call it, this is very difficult. If you crack this, you can see emptiness. If you crack this, you are close to emptiness. I call it quality and characteristic. Rangshin and ngupo. You can call it quality and characteristic. Change it from general and specific. Don't say chi chedak, say quality and characteristic. Take clock as clockness. Okay? Not a clock, not the clock. Clockness. I just lost half of you, I can tell. But you gotta get it. You gotta get it. If you get it, you can become like Iron Man. Okay? You can save the world. Clockness. Okay? Think of clockness. I say that's quality. And then this is characteristic of that quality. Okay? This is typical of that quality. This is a manifestation of that quality. Okay? There's a big universal, what did Jung call it? Archetype. There's an archetype clock. There is the original clock. There's the picture of a clock. You can call it clockness. Okay? There's a big clock in your mind. Perfect clock. Perfect clock. Perfect picture of a clock. Okay? The perfect clock. The model of all clocks. The archetype of all clocks. That's in your mind. It's just a brightness in your mind. It's a small energy in your mind. It's a mental image in your mind. Okay? It has no, it's not concrete. It's a picture in your mind. Okay? That's clockness. This thing has it. Okay? This object has that. This object has clockness. This thing is typical of clockness. This is a clock. This is the clock. And that's clock or clockness. You can say clock and use your fingers, or you can say clock, or you can say clockness. Okay? That's a mental image. Okay? That's a perfect picture of a clock. How big is it? No, physically, I don't know, psychokinetically, your experience is about this big. Seriously, if you go deep, deep, deep into meditation and you try to find clock in your mental library and you finally manage to pull it out artificially in a meditation, it'll be about this big. Where is it in your head? Back here. Okay, I'm not kidding. I mean, it's not really there, right? And it's not really have any size. But kinetically, you feel it. You will experience it as a little picture in the back of your mind. Okay? You will, the day that you catch yourself seeing clock, you'll catch it in the back of your head, and it'll be about that big. Okay? So that's clock. Got it? Is this clock? Is this pen? Is this a pen? Where is it coming from? Get it? You have a seed in your mind. It opens into pen. A picture in the back of your head. And you put it on this thing. You lay it on this thing. And then you call this the pen.